See here, some courses, especially administration side, whether you are going for a database administration or Linux, Unix, or Windows administration, those things, what happens, 3 points are always important to get the job and work in real environment. Number one, conceptual knowledge is important. In the same way, practical knowledge is important. Real-time exposure or experience, whatever it. These are important for us. Okay. So, why they are important, I will explain very clearly. For example, concept means like there is some configuration. Why we are working with that configuration? Now, what is the advantage of working with that configuration and how to do that practically? Same way, I will give you simple scenario here, guys. Generally, database administration, SQL Server database administration means priority always goes to, basic thing, backups. Generally, as a DBA, you are going to work with the backups in the beginning. Guys, backups means like taking copy of the database. So generally, why we are doing, backups, why we are taking copy of the database means security purpose generally. Because what we are going to store in the database, tell me, our customers' data. So customers' data is always important for us. That's why we need to create some security for that data. So that what we are doing, when we are working with the databases, we are going to take backups from the databases. I'll give you some real-time example here. You take banking sector. For example, you have account in some XYZ bank, right? And in that bank, when you're going to open your account, you're going to provide your personal information. Now, where that information is going to store? Right? In the same way, after opening bank account, you're going to perform some transactions in your account, like deposits, withdrawals, right? Balance inquiry, online transfer, different types of transactions you are going to perform. Where those transactions related information is going to store. And these are all going to store in a bank database. Like that. Maximum organizations, what they do, they will maintain application and a database. This database concept is only for data storage purpose. Okay. Now you will get some doubt here. What is the meaning of application? Because I use that word now, right? See, for example, you take Google Pay, Phone Pay, Paytm, or your bank app. App means what, guys? Application only, right? So how you're performing transactions in our bank account, tell me? By using app only, application only, right? So you don't know where is your bank database, right? But still you can perform transactions from your application. Okay. That means application is different. Database is different. Application is just like used to interact with the database and to perform operations in the database. That is the purpose of application. And I've given clarity already, right? What is the application? So some real example, daily life example I've given now, right? So coming to next scenario. This is the background of the databases, like why we are creating databases and what we are going to store in the databases. So this is the scenario, right, guys? So coming to next step, backup. Backup, it is used to create some sort of security for your database. In the same way, sometimes what happens, we are going to move databases between servers. For example, you go to any project and whether you are developer or test engineer or administrator or something, you are going to work with minimum 3 servers there. First development will be done. Then it goes to QA, means testing. Developer is going to develop something that will be tested by the QA people, I mean testing engineers. Then only it will be transferred to production. Production means what? That is the real environment where the user is going to interact with our application or your database, right? So development, test environment, then production. Sometimes what happens, we are going to, not sometimes, Sunday, generally it happens in every project, okay? We are going to move databases between different servers. Move or transfer or migration of the databases. So there are different things. We are going to work with them in the coming sessions. Don't worry. I'll give you more clarity, right? So in this case also, to transfer database from server to server, we are going to use this backup concept. Okay. So that is the concept. Next, practical. See, there are some commands to perform backups. And even by using GUI, graphical user interface, we have some tool called as Management Studio. We also call it as SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. Even by using that tool also, we can perform backups. Of course, we have different types of backups. Like for example, full backup, differential backup, log backup, copy only backup. So there are different types of backups. Some other types of backups also there, which we are going to work in the coming days, right? So for everything what happens, I'm going to show you comments, even how to take backup by using GUI, graphical user interface part, GUI part, that also I'm going to show you. So you can practice it, right? So your important thing is, if trainer is good, then you'll get conceptual knowledge and practical knowledge also. Like what to do, how to do. This is fine and this area is good. Most of the cases, what happens, you're going to get this knowledge. Even some trainings, we provide more and more commands. That is okay, no problem. The reason behind that is why we are going for more and more commands in some trainings, we can perform same task in different ways. In that way, what happens, we have to show all different types of scenarios to complete the same task, right? That is different scenario that is comes under, practical part. That's okay. Now, for example, just assume that you are perfect in theoretically and even practically. Right, guys? Okay. Then what about real time? Because we are giving perfect training, we are giving you conceptual knowledge and practical knowledge. You are practicing. Okay, fine. But how to use them in the real time? When to use them in the real time? This is important. I'll give you a simple example. When you are attending some interviews, they'll ask you some questions. What is your database size? Okay. How many servers you are maintaining? How many databases you are maintaining? What is your backup strategy? Right? How long it is taking to complete the backup? When? How much time it is consuming? This type of questions are important for us. This is not only for interview purpose, guys. See, anyhow, see, if you are perfect in concept and practical, easily you can crack the interviews. That is different thing. Leave it. Forget about that. Important thing is, When we are practicing, suppose now today we are starting training, we already started. We will show you some examples. But what is the size of the database we are using here? In MBs and megabytes maximum. But in real time, you are going to handle terabytes, TB, and TB means what? Terabyte size of the databases. Terabyte equal to 1 terabyte equal to 1024 GB gigabytes. Suppose you are practicing with MB size of the database, and here you are working with almost 10 databases for practice purpose, and you are executing backups every 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes like that. And it is taking around milliseconds for the execution of the backup. That's what happens when you are into training. I know that. Right? But what about real time? Real time, you are going to work with terabyte size of the databases, guys. You are going to work with more number of servers and more number of databases. You have to provide some picture there, some number there. Generally, backup strategy depends on size of the database. Okay, sometimes we go for daily backups, sometimes we go for weekly backups because we have different types of backups, right? So backup strategy. Who will prepare this backup strategy? Based on what they are going to prepare this backup strategy. Suppose you are working with a 1 terabyte size of the database, how long it is taking to complete the backup? This type of scenario is important. We are going to concentrate on this area. Okay. Really, no doubt. Okay. Coming to next step. So whatever the scenarios I discussed here, from the past 20 minutes we are discussing, they're all pure DBA related, and because this is core DBA training, database administration training. But sometimes, of course, this is general question from the participants as well. They ask me like, sir, do I need any other knowledge? I mean, any prerequisites there for this training? Yeah. See, basically, some development experience, if you have not experience, knowledge. Like what is query, how to work with the queries, these are all. Right, guys? Okay, na? Okay. So now the thing is, in this case, I told you like backup strategy like this. Suppose we have one terabyte size of the database and in our current environment. Not one exactly, I mean around one like that. For that, it is the backup is taking around 15 minutes for the execution. So now you're going to fix in our mind like, okay, so this is the size. So sir told us this is the time taking for the execution, backup execution. That is not correct. Based on your environment, I'll give you a simple example, guys. You're all attending this training today. Almost we are 5 members here in this meeting today. Suppose some participant connected from Wi-Fi network, like 150 MB or 200 MB network line. They won't face any issues, any lagging or anything they won't face. Suppose some participant is connected to this training from mobile network. Sometimes they face some lagging, network lagging kind of issues. Am I right or not? This is common scenario. Same way, based on your server configuration, what is the memory size available? Memory means what? RAM of the computer. Disk space related, processor related, cores related. Sorry guys. Even network speed, network bandwidth, disk type, because we have different types of disk. Those are all I'm going to discuss in the coming days, no doubt. So these are all the factors. Based on these factors only, your time consumption will be there for taking backup. Not only backup, just I'm taking backup as an example. But we are going to work with a lot of other configurations, guys. Okay. So now the thing is, this area you need to concentrate, writing some commands. For example, I'll give you a simple example here. You want to take backup only. You can write backup command. You can use GUI. You can create job. You can create maintenance plan. How many ways there? There are different ways. See, whether you are using command, GUI, job creation, or maintenance plan creation, ultimately you are doing the same task, right, guys? See, you are attending from phone or from laptop or from your what we call tab or whatever it. But same class, you are attending Suresh class only from the DURGASOFT. Subject is SQL DBA. Am I right or not? Same way, this is the thing. But okay, fine. This is very much required. I'm accepting that. But what about your real-time scenario? I'm taking 30 classes, 40 classes, 50 classes. And all the classes I'm showing you, I'm explaining you only concept. I'm showing you some commands. I'm executing some commands. Huh? I'm discussing some interview questions and I'm going to wind up the training. What is the use? No use. After finishing this training, you have to start for another training, some other course. This is the key point. We need to concentrate on this area, guys. Okay. So that way we are planning, we planned this course, we designed this course. Got it? So coming to next scenario. Now, this part, administration part, I told you some point in the class previously. I mean, today's class only. Not only DBA, you need some other things like prerequisites, SQL queries, and you don't worry about that. SQL queries, anyhow, I'm going to cover in this training only. See, you're going to work with some issues and because you are DBA. DBA task means what? Ticket-based task. Every day you will get some tickets from the users, you are going to resolve them. Most of the time, the same tickets will be there. Same tickets will be there. But the thing is, you're going to resolve some issue which is related to query, but you don't know what is query. Then how can you resolve the issue? Tell me. Am I right or not? See, in the same way, there are many reasons and there are many reasons for query related issues in the databases. So here we need some queries knowledge that I'm going to cover in this training only. And coming to next scenario, something it's related to I can say like Windows related and network related. I mean, these are actually we are not added these things to our content. We will add them. And like something, suppose your application is connected to database. how the application is going to connect here. We need to prepare some inbound rules and outbound rules. Then only it will be connected. Of course, your Windows team will do this, but I want to show you that also. So that you can keep some words here. You can put some lines, points in your resume, right? Why it is purpose. Not only that, knowledge is always important, right? And so these things, and not only these things, some other scenarios also we are going to cover. Like for example, of course, like Windows scheduler, why we are using this Windows scheduler. What type of task can be performed by using this Windows scheduler. So this area also we are going to work out, you know. And in the same way, how to create our own roles. Roles means permissions to the databases and so because when Microsoft provided some roles, suppose you want to read the data, provide read permission. You want to write the data, provide write permission. Right? Like that. Okay, now. So in the same way, what happens when we can create our own roles for our environment. So even that area also I'm going to cover, like how to create roles and how to provide permissions, canceling permissions. So that area, complete real-time scenario. That also I'm going to show you very clearly. Right. So in the same way, coming to next step, major issues, major tickets, because see, I'm just giving you overview today. Tomorrow I'm going to start actual subject. Like what is the meaning of configuration, so monitoring part to tickets, so issue resolution, but that area I'm going to cover tomorrow. So please don't miss tomorrow's session, right? That is also like introduction only. So now coming to next step. Here, what are the regular issues we are going to receive? Usually, right guys? You go to any environment, those will be the regular issues, no doubt. So that area just we are going to concentrate and we are going to work out practically. In that way, what happens, it's really helpful for you to understand the things here, right? So to work with the scenarios. And that we are going to cover. That means prerequisites, generally queries related scenarios. Along with that, we are also going to work with some scenarios from Windows side, some scenarios from application side, and how to use task manager from Windows operating system, why we are using task manager, what we can find out there in the task manager, and disk related, what are the different types of disks available, why we have different types of disks, what is the advantage of working with those disks. That means different areas. Along with the SQL DBA, we are going to work with the different areas, and I will give you clarity on those things so that you'll get super knowledge, no doubt. Right, guys? Because I'll give you a simple example. The query is there. The query is taking long time for the execution. What is the reason? There are many reasons, right? Many reasons. See, query preparation is not correct, for example, or else index is not there, or index fragmentation, or blockings, deadlocks, resource related issues, network related issues. See this. There are lot of reasons for that issue. You need to understand these things. That is called real-time scenario. Got it? Okay. That we are going to discuss in this training. Purely. Later you can compare my class with any other videos or something. No problem. So I will provide you recording of the class every day. I will give you some soft copy materials. I will give you some interview questions. Anyhow, I'm going to cover real-time scenarios in this class only. So you'll get recordings, obviously, right, guys? So you need to go with that. Practice. And coming to next step, practice environment. Sorry. How to practice. If there is no environment, we cannot practice it, right? So don't worry, if you have Windows operating system laptop, I will help you to install SQL Server in your laptop only so that you can go for practice, and I'll provide you practice databases as well, right? You can use them for practice purpose. As I told you, see, in real time, you're going to work with the terabyte size of the databases, guys, no doubt. But we cannot provide that much of size for practice purpose, right? At least MBs are up to GB. Up to GB size of the databases, I'll try to provide you for the practice purpose. Okay. Even in the class also, we'll do the same. So complete picture I'm going to provide you, like end-to-end scenario. Okay. So that's all from my end for today. Any questions from you, please? Anybody, any questions? Nitin.
Yes, sir. I would like to ask one thing that, will you provide the, the support for this installation? Installation in the sense like, SQL Server, not one time, like in my own, not the company system, because which they have given as a desktop, but my own laptop, like SQL
Hey,
Server myself, I have installed.
better to do it in our personal laptop only, Nitin.
Right, right, right. So a SQL Server in my personal laptop, I have installed like many times,
Okay.
more than 8 to 10 times. Okay, Major.
Okay, okay, no
But
problem.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the thing is that to be precise, I never get the clarity. It is as simple as that, like checking any YouTube video,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
any Microsoft document. Just started doing next, irrespective of
Don't worry,
thinking.
we will discuss each and every point.
Yeah.
I got your point, and we will discuss very clearly
Because,
about that
yeah,
installation
because
thing.
if
Okay.
somebody is saying actually in live environment, not for the complete company, but for some live environment, like for testing or for QA platform, like set up some database over there as a new in
Yeah.
some environment. So they will definitely do not have confidence that what is that one, because till now it is something like we when we set up in the laptop, we just made window authentication irrespective of user administration. We do not even know, we
Hmm.
just go next, and that's finished.
Yeah. Okay, no problem, Nitin. That will be covered. That is part of our training only, basically. Okay.
Sure, sir, sure.
Every point we'll discuss at the time of installation. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. No, thank you. Kumar, any questions? Hello, Kumar, you are on mute. Yeah, there is some message. No questions. Okay. Let's do one thing. We'll meet tomorrow with the same go-to meeting, same Zoom meeting link and the same time. Okay. Right? Right, guys. Then see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.